So I'm sitting here in my 1-month-old Model Y Juniper, and I'm fresh off of a 2,100-mile road trip. Now, with just over 3,000 miles on the odometer, I'm going to share some of the little things that I've noticed, sort of the things that you might not catch on a test drive that I've experienced since I've owned this car. I really like the car. There's always going to be those little things that you nitpick at, those little things where you think, why did they do it like that? But that's not really the point. It's the good, it's the bad, and I just want to give you an honest overview of what it's been like to live with this car over the past month and 3,000 miles. It's a collection of the little things that I've noticed along the way. Not an overly produced video or anything, just a quick overview of some of the things that I've noticed. So here in the Model Y Juniper, my arm rests over here a lot of the time while I'm driving on the armrest. Makes sense, right? My hand naturally goes over the power window buttons as well as the emergency door release. So this up here is the primary electronic door release. You push that button, it opens the door. This one here, if you pull up on this will release if there were ever a power outage. Here's my problem though. This logo on here, this emergency logo, is raised. And it feels like sand in the Vaseline. This to me should be completely smooth. So while my hand is resting here, my finger, every time it moves, it's like sandpaper to me. I don't know why that needs to be raised up. These are also raised, these little images here on the steering wheel, but my fingers aren't resting here normally. They do rest over here on the armrest. So that's probably, as stupid as it sounds, my least favorite thing about this car is that logo is raised and it irritates my fingers. Now, I do really like this steering wheel. It has a really nice texture to it, feels good in the hand here, and it just feels good going down the road. The buttons on here, you know, they did keep the stock, the turn signal stock on the Model Y, unlike with the Model 3 where they went to the button. That to me, I think would have been a deal breaker. But they kept the stock, and this is now my light, my bright lights flasher. So if I press this a couple times like that, that would flash my lights at, say, a semi that I'm signaling he has clearance to come over into my lane. This is the windshield washer fluid versus on my Model 3, there was a button right here. And that's pretty convenient. You know, you don't ever have to reach up and touch anything. They're right here at your thumb. If your thumb is even on the steering wheel, because a lot of times with this car, at least, I'm in full self-driving. I have a camera button here that lights up my cameras there. And then instead of having the dictation button on my Model 3 was you push this button in, I have a dedicated voice command button here. And in general, yeah, I like the steering wheel. I like the way it's set up. I definitely like the stock. So I never had to go to the button idea. I didn't like that idea. And yeah, I'm glad that stock's over there. And this is that new turn signal stock. This is different from my Model 3 for multiple reasons. One, as I mentioned, the other one had the windshield washer fluid button here. This is only a turn signal. It doesn't have any other functionality. It doesn't pull forward or anything like that. It goes up and down, turn the turn signal on for left or right. That's all it does. It does not have, a lot of people in reviews have mentioned this, it does not have an intermediate area in between off and all the way on. A lot of times turn signals in cars, you push it part way down, you can hold it there if you're changing lanes, or you can put it all the way down to lock it on. A lot of people, I don't think, understand though that this does have an intermediate function. It just doesn't have the feel of going into this intermediate area. Because if you do just tap down on a little bit, that's the turn signal on. And if I let off, it goes off, just like I'm used to in any other car. And if I push it one full turn, it locks it on until the steering wheel is turned, just like any other car. So it's not that different. It feels a little bit different, but the functionality is still there. So now I want to talk about device charging inside the car. So charging your phones, charging your tablets, camera batteries, whatever the case. First of all, back here in the back, there are two USB-C ports. I like to use these 90-degree turn plugs because in my Model 3, I had a situation where I actually stepped on one of these, got my foot on it, and it broke off inside the port. So these USB-C cords that turn 90 degrees, they don't have as much leverage to get a hold of something and break them off. So I have these 2 ports here. Then up here, we have one USB-C port. Now you can see in this compartment, I have a lot of storage down in here, right? But with this cord coming out halfway into the box, it does kind of interrupt what you have in here. If you had a lot of junk in this, it would be hard to go down in there and plug that in. So that's one thing that I have noticed. Now outside of that, you have no other USB-C ports up here. You do have your phone chargers here, the magnetic chargers. But I have a couple of kids. So my wife and I, we can charge our phones here, but they have tablets, they're watching iPads and things like that on their way. They have a Nintendo Switch. I have a lot of batteries. I have multiple YouTube channels. I have a lot of camera batteries. I have a lot of things that have to get charged. So having this one USB-C port here and these 2 USB-C ports back here, it's not really a lot of ports for me. It does have down in here a cigarette lighter, so a 12-volt outlet. And what I do is I have a couple of these that you plug in, and it gives you those extra USB A or B ports. I have plenty of cables that still have that end, and I plug that down in there, and that gives me a place that I can plug in a couple of extra cords, and that helps me when it comes to needing to charge batteries. And then inside the trunk here, there is one more 12-volt port that I can put one of these in. I can't reach anything back here, but if it's something that I don't need to reach, like I have some camera batteries or something that need to charge while I'm driving from place to place, I can use another one of these, and that gives me an extra couple of ports. So just for validation, I will show you my odometer is at 3,362 miles right now. The majority of that is racked up on 2 road trips. So I just came back from a 2,100 mile road trip from Cincinnati down to Cape Canaveral, Florida, and back. I did that I slept in the car for 4 nights straight. So I have that experience. I'm going to go into that. And then we did a family trip down to New River Gorge National Park in West Virginia. So from Cincinnati down to New River Gorge. So a lot of those 3,300 miles are racked up on those 2 trips, although we've been doing drives back and forth to work and things like that too. So what I want to say about the sleeping in the car. When this car is in camp mode, and I wondered about this before I took delivery, but I validated it since I've had it. These lights, you have the option of leaving these on all night while you're in camp mode. So your air conditioning's going, your heating's going, whatever, and these lights stay on. You can turn them off manually. You can also adjust the brightness. So if you thought that they were too bright, you could dim them, and it just adds some ambience overnight, which I thought was really cool. I was excited that it did that. That's what I was hoping, is that they would stay on overnight. And they do, in fact. I can validate that. I was pretty dead tired by the time I was ready to put it in camp mode, because I just needed a place to sleep. It wasn't like I was going on a camping trip and hanging out in the car. I just needed legitimately a place to sleep. And when I stopped, I was dead tired, and I didn't have time to enjoy a lot of ambience or anything like that. But they do stay on, and if you were in more of a relaxed camping environment, you might even have more of a chance to enjoy it. And then also, again, optional, you can leave the lights on. These wells light up at night, as well as the footwell lights. Those can stay on as well. You can turn them off, or you can keep them on when you are in camp mode. So I thought that was just cool, adding a little bit of ambience to your camping experience. If you're enjoying these videos or getting something useful out of them, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. Just helps YouTube recognize the interest and gets my videos out there to more people. And I did splurge the extra $35 on top of my $60,000 that I spent for the car to have these little compartments here. They of course don't come with it. You don't get those for your 60 grand, but for $35 more, you can get these little compartments here to help better utilize the space in the cavities. So this is maybe one of those things that border on being maybe a little bit silly, but I really like the way that they engineered these. Just to open this compartment. Soft close and open for the glove, or for the cup holder rather. And you can see how that goes under there, and it's just so smooth. I think that was really well engineered. Lots of well engineered things on the car, but sometimes it's those little things that get you. I'm not sure if all the Model Y Junipers have this, or if this was just a launch edition feature, but it has this soft suede feeling material along the dashboard. I really like that. I don't know how well that holds up over time, but my car is usually garaged. It's in the garage at home, it's in the garage at work. So it's not out in the sun really a lot. I think it'll last a long time, but I think that that's a nice touch, that soft material up there. And then that matches this same material here on the doors. It's just a very nice suede feeling fabric. It goes all the way down through here. And then the multiple textures, this is also a fabric. And this is a softer, this is not a hard plastic. This is covered in a vinyl leathery feel stuff. What do they call that? Faux leather, vegan leather, is that what they call it? Same thing down here. This is soft. All of this up in here is soft. And then they've carpeted, sorry about the focus, they've carpeted these pockets on the doors. So that's great for me, because if you have something in there, it drives me nuts if something's rattling around in there against the hard plastic, but they've got that carpeted, so that should help cut down on some of that vibration, some of that sound. And then here on these phone chargers, this is also that really soft suede-like material. I think that's just it's really pleasant to the touch. One thing about this car is that it doesn't have the stalk here to change gears. It's all done on the screen. So you go forward to put it in drive, all the way back to put it into reverse. You press here to put it in park, or if you simply open the door, it will put it in park automatically. Well, what if the screen were to go out? How do you drive it anywhere? How do you put it into neutral if you needed to push it? Well, up above the rear view mirror here, where you have the dome lights, if you press up here, you get these to light up. So park, reverse, neutral, and drive. This is a backup in case your screen ever failed. So it's in park there. That put it in reverse. That's a neutral. And that's drive. And those will go out when I open and close the door. Those lights will dim and you won't see those letters up there at all. But that's the emergency way to get it into gear or put it into neutral for towing if the screen ever failed. I've always liked the seats in the Tesla. This new car versus my 2019 has the ventilated seats. So these, because they're ventilated, they have the perforations. I'm a little concerned about this because I don't want things getting stuck in here, crumbs and dirt, especially with the kids. So I'm kind of concerned that this is going to be a new maintenance issue for me on the Model Y Juniper. Open glove box. This is the manual to my Honda, and I'm just using this for demonstrative purposes. This is the glove box in the Model Y Juniper. It takes up essentially the entire glove box, just to show you how big the glove box is. So there's lots of storage in this car, and here, under here, this area here is pretty small. It's enough room to maybe store a pair of non-insulated gloves in here. But this is not going to be your prime storage area in this car. Home from that 2,000-mile road trip. You can see a lot of bug guts on the front of the car, which is expected, but I wanted to show you this camera right here. This is that new front camera on the Juniper that helps you with parking. It has a place here for the windshield washer fluid to come out when you use the windshield washer fluid on the main windshield. It comes out there as well to clean this camera. But you can see there was no spray that was going to clean that thing after that bug impact there. So that's going to be an issue, regardless of the sprayer. That's going to be an issue on these cars, is trying to keep that camera clean. And then the one other thing that I'll mention about the car is, man, the thing sure pulls hard. I like that. So that's really all I wanted to share, just those few things. I'm sure I'm going to learn much more about this car and have an opportunity to talk in more detail about other things. But those are some of my first impressions of the car, some of the things that I've thought about in the 3,000 miles that I've been driving it. And I'll keep you posted on anything else that comes to mind. But those are the initial thoughts that I have, and I will see you down the road.